What is activism? I've heard many things about activists, and most of them are the ones to be expected. I've heard names tossed out: anarchists, feminists, LGBTQ advocates, opinionated people, tree huggers, anarchists, and of course, loudmouths. My father thinks that activists perform actions to support a cause, regardless of whatever that cause is, and because of that, activism is neither bad nor good. What can be good to some people can be bad to others, and I agree with that. Within everyone, there is the power to speak out for something that they believe in.
People may think that one person can't make a difference, that one person can't do anything special, but I believe that something as simple as tweeting a post or reblogging a post on some other site makes one person an activist.
I've heard that people think activists are only people who participate in protests like the Women's March or Standing Rock. Google's definition of activism is the policy or action of using vigorous campaigning to bring about political or social change. And most of these assumptions are true. The people participating in Standing Rock and the Women's March are most definitely activists, and as always, Google is somewhat right. It's the term vigorous that I don't quite agree with.
When I say that everyone has the power to be an activist, I do mean everyone, even the people that don't want to go out there and risk their lives and well-being for the cause that they believe in. There is something I like to call quiet activism, and it's posting something small online, or even sharing something that someone else wrote. It's not big, like making propaganda or parading through the streets, but it still shows that you care about what's happening and stand with your beliefs, and in my book, that's activism.
In fact, Saturday Night Live recently made a comedy short about it, showing that even the smallest things can help. Even if you're throwing away trash that you didn't put there, or recycling something that you saw lying on the ground, you are showing that you support the well-being of the environment. Then there are some people who would say that since everyone has the power to be an activist, would some of the more violent groups like the KKK, Al-Qaeda, or ISIS be considered activists? Well, since they're standing up for what they believe in, yes. They believe in something, and they are willing to show that they would do something to prove it. They're definitely on the high side of activism, and activism is neither good nor bad because what is good to one person can be bad to another. In this case, very bad to another.
Activists are always put on a pedestal of some kind, made to be rude, assertive, opinionated, and unwilling to back down from a challenge. And sure, some are. Some even participate in violent protests, but not all of them. Some people are too busy with their lives to make a loud noise and expect people to acknowledge them as participating in activism. Some people just don't like violence. But everyone has the power to encourage change, and whether they choose to act on it or not is what truly makes them an activist. Someone who thinks that things should change but does nothing about it is not an activist. You have to act in order to be an activist, and no matter how small that action is, it still counts.
And lastly, do I think of myself as an activist? I'm rather introverted, to say the least, and I prefer a quiet life. But online, I post about what I believe in, and what the world should be instead of what it is, and the struggles that it's going through. I speak my mind. I want to call attention to things that are glossed over, that people ignore. I may be one person, and I'm definitely not some rebel against the government, but because I act on those thoughts, yes, I am an activist, and I walk to my own beat, even if it's somewhat quieter than the rest of the world.